Well, good morning. How we doing? Well, actually, it's good afternoon. This is your host, Michael J. Long, and thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Well, today we got a special, wow, I don't even know what to call it because it doesn't seem like it's that much of a special broadcast, but today, as I promised, I will. Well, let me see what I can talk about first. All right. So, I'm waving at the camera. Um, so anyways, so this is what you can do. You can do a lot of things to support the National Libertarian Party. Well, actually, to support the Libertarian Party in general. I mean, even just making videos on a regular basis, podcasts. You can do that through Patreon, and I believe the other one is. It's a subsidiary of Spotify. Um, but you can make podcasts. Anchor.fm, that's the name of it. Anchor.fm. It's a podcast thing that allows you to make your own podcast, what have you. It provides free hosting, all that. The most important thing, if you live in New York State, would be to subscribe. I mean, not necessarily to subscribe, but to register as a libertarian with the New York State Board of Elections. That is the most important thing you can do right now. If you're already registered to vote, you can change your party affiliation to Libertarian. We have major party ballot access in this state. We're officially recognized by the Board of Elections for New York State, the Board of Elections. So that's good. And that's because our governor candidate, Larry Sharp, received beyond 50,000 votes, and we needed 50,000 votes just to get major party status. So that's a good thing. So now, and now is the most important time if you're a libertarian and you consider registering with the Libertarian Party. There's no greater time than the present. I'm sure I've heard this multiple times. But yeah, there's no greater present, no greater time than the present. Because here's the deal. You got the Republicans and the Democrats are completely out of control. They all have their own districting, but we're never allowed to create our own political districts. It's fishy. And they're the ones that control the Census Bureau, the Supreme Court, and it's because they keep electing the population, which I believe is 25% for the Democrats and 25% for the Republicans, and then they rely on the independents, and the independents are usually either voting for the Republican Party or the Democratic Party, depending on which one of the two they like. So our appeal to independents is that there is an alternative, and that alternative is the Libertarian Party. And if you don't like what's going on with Trump now, there's no greater time than the present to vote for someone like Gary Johnson or whoever. I mean, Gary Johnson's not running for president this time around, but whoever it is that wins the Libertarian nomination, to go on and vote for that person in the general election. It's been on the news, and this I also wanted to touch base on, about this impeachment inquiry that they're providing for the President Donald Trump, that is. The impeachment inquiry basically, as it currently stands, he don't like whistleblowers. So he tries to do whatever he can to punish them. And to make the rest of the population, I mean, the conservatives just believe anything he says because he's the conservative representative, the main head, whatever, and he's the president of the United States. So of course they're going to defend him tooth and nail. But I mean, just because he gets impeached doesn't necessarily mean he's going to get kicked out, unless the Senate votes to kick him out of the presidency, which is an entirely separate process from being impeached. What it means for the president to be impeached simply means that, in a sense, that they're bringing up charges against him for whatever reason. It could be I think the latest scandal, I think, is according to what is reported. Not that you have to believe it, but I believe this one had to do with a whistleblower blowing the whistle on Trump's when he called over to the Ukraine and basically said, "Look, we'll get you military aid and all that to Kiev, but you gotta, if I get elected. If not, blah, blah, blah." So that's what the inquiry is about. So if the House of Representatives votes to impeach him, then basically he will join the ranks of Clinton and others who've been impeached in the past. But again, whether or not he gets impeached depends on the House of Representatives, and then that doesn't mean he's going to get kicked out. That just means they're bringing up charges against him. And then whether or not he gets kicked out depends on the Senate after he's able to speak to the Senate and they make up their minds what they want to do and how they want to go about doing it. The Constitution, as you know, is very explicit about just how to handle these types of cases, and especially depending on how it's enforced and all that. But I mean, he's alienated a lot of people, and again, if you don't want to support that, or yet alone some of the garbage the Democrats support, or the hypocrisy that goes on with them, I would strongly recommend and consider supporting the Libertarian Party. If that's something you want to do, you can do that. You can pay your dues for the national level, one-time membership, whatever, however you want to do it. And I think in New York State, you just register with the Board of Elections to become a Libertarian. Bada bing, bada boom. So, again, this is something that, we should, be, the Libertarian Party is a party we should be grateful for. Because at least we're willing to stand up for everyone's rights. Now, whether you agree with the Democratic Party or the Republican Party or not, or whether you agree with the Libertarian Party or not, you have to take into consideration. Here's the deal with the Libertarian Party and why I support it. We support marriage equality. We support everybody's rights. It's not just, we support X amount of people's rights, and then, by the way, we're going to ban, vaping and this and that. That's something the Democrats do. And then the Republicans aren't any different. Trump's not any different on this because he wants to go after your guns. And I've stated that before in my last video. So, if you're tired of the BS, we'll welcome you with open arms. Because we're the only party, because if you think about it, we're the only party that's pro-Second Amendment, pro-gun rights. We're pro everybody's freedom and rights and civil liberties. That includes marriage equality. That includes your private property rights. Moreover and more importantly, it includes your right to bear arms, your right to decide for yourself how to raise your children, how to live your life, and what you choose to put in your own body, how you choose to spend your money, how you choose to raise your children, what choices you make, whether or not your kids can get vaccinated or not. You have rights. Everybody has rights, as long as you don't impose danger, force, or fraud to others. So as long as you're minding your own business, there's nobody who can tell you how to live your life better than you can. So again, I mean, support the Libertarian Party if that's something you want to do. I highly encourage it. I'm not going to tell you who you can and can't vote for, but I highly encourage that the people that are considering the Libertarian Party should vote for the Libertarian Party and support it. I highly encourage it. Because again, we're the only party that cares about everybody. About your rights, mainly. About even your business rights. We're pro-freedom in both personal, economic matters, all the way around the board. We're not going to put up, if we're elected to office, we're not going to, tell you, that you can't do vaping or that you can't smoke marijuana or crack cocaine, as long as you don't impose force and as long as you don't impose danger, force, or fraud to others or defraud the system in any shape, matter, or form. So that's the only exception. But yeah, I mean, it's either that. If you care about the national, or we go bankrupt, but I would hope the voters can turn things around within the next 20, 30 years, probably. Because I don't expect the Libertarian Party to get elected next year or the year after. I'm hoping the Libertarian Party gets elected next year, but I don't expect it. But this is what should be taken into consideration. You see what's going on with the president, and it makes him look bad, and it makes us look bad as a country that we have such a president that is being impeached. And he's not the first one. He's not the first one. So again, I hope you've enjoyed this broadcast. My name's Michael J. Long, and thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Thank you.